Imagine this, you're climbing a flight of stairs, something you've done 1,000 times before, but today it feels different, all right? Your legs are heavy, your knees ache, and each step feels like a small mountain. You pause, catch your breath, and wonder, what's happening to me? You eat well, choosing fresh fruits every day because you've been told they're nature's candy, packed with vitamins and goodness. You exercise, maybe a brisk walk or some light stretching, and you're doing everything you've been taught to stay healthy. Yet your legs feel weaker, your joints stiffer, and getting out of a chair takes more effort than it used to. Is it just aging, or is something else quietly working against you? All right? What if the very foods you trust to keep you strong, those vibrant, juicy fruits, are silently undermining your mobility? This isn't about fear, it's about empowerment. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a truth that's rarely discussed. Not all fruits are your friends as you age, especially after 60. Some of the most popular fruits, celebrated as health superstars, could be contributing to leg weakness, joint pain, and mobility challenges. But don't worry, this journey isn't about giving up your favorite foods. It's about making smarter choices to keep your legs strong, your steps steady, and your life active. Stick with me because by the end, you'll know exactly which fruits to avoid, which ones to embrace, and how to take control of your health in a way that feels natural and sustainable. All right? Let's start with a question that might surprise you. Have you ever thought about how your body changes as you age? It's not just about wrinkles or gray hair. Your metabolism slows, your blood vessels become more delicate, and your joints lose some of their resilience. Foods that were once your allies can start to work against you, especially when it comes to your legs and mobility. Fruits, in particular, are often seen as universally healthy, nature's perfect snack. All right? But here's the reality. Some fruits, despite their sweet allure and nutrient-packed reputation, can quietly contribute to inflammation, blood sugar spikes, and even joint pain. These effects are subtle, creeping in over time, so you might not notice them until you're struggling to walk across the room or wincing as you stand. The good news: you can make small, informed changes to protect your strength and vitality. Let's dive into the 7 fruits that seniors should approach with caution and why they might be doing more harm than good. Picture a juicy slice of this tropical delight, golden, sweet, and bursting with flavor. It's often praised for its anti-inflammatory powers, thanks to an enzyme called bromelain. All right? But here's the twist for seniors. Pineapple can be a double-edged sword. It's loaded with natural sugars and acids that, while harmless in moderation for younger folks, can wreak havoc on aging bodies. As we age, our blood vessels become more fragile and our ability to handle sugar spikes weakens. When you eat pineapple, those natural sugars flood your bloodstream, causing a rapid rise in blood sugar. This spike can stress the tiny blood vessels that nourish your legs, feet, and muscles, reducing oxygen flow over time. The result, swelling, fatigue, and that heavy, dragging feeling in your legs after a short walk. You might notice your knees stiffen when you stand or your ankles ache after a day of sitting. All right? The acids in pineapple can also irritate already inflamed joints, especially if you have arthritis. It's like pouring fuel on a smoldering fire. Your knees, hips, and ankles feel the burn. Even more concerning, bromelain can interact with medications like blood thinners, making them less effective or overly potent. The worst part, the damage is silent. There's no immediate pain or warning sign, just a slow erosion of your leg strength until you realize you can't move as freely as you once did. If you love pineapple, you don't have to banish it entirely, but limit it to small portions and pair it with foods that stabilize blood sugar, like a handful of nuts. Your legs will thank you, all right? Next, let's turn to a fruit that's practically a health icon, the banana. Soft, sweet, and packed with potassium, bananas are a go-to for preventing muscle cramps and boosting energy. But for seniors, they can be a sneaky saboteur, all right? Bananas are high in fast, digesting carbohydrates and natural sugars, which can cause a quick spike in blood sugar. For younger, active bodies, this might not be a problem, but after 60, your metabolism isn't as forgiving. These spikes can lead to inflammation, particularly in areas with poor circulation like your legs. You might feel a dull ache in your calves, stiffness when climbing stairs, or a heaviness that makes walking feel like a chore. Bananas can also promote fluid retention, especially in those with heart conditions, leading to swollen ankles or stiff joints. All right. The irony is that you're eating bananas to support your muscles, but they could be quietly weakening them. The effects build slowly, so you might not connect that daily banana to the leg pain that creeps in over weeks or months. If you're noticing persistent swelling or discomfort, take a closer look at your fruit bowl. Cutting back on bananas, especially if eaten in large quantities, could make a noticeable difference. All right. Now, let's talk about something small but mighty: grapes. These little bursts of sweetness seem like the perfect snack, easy to pop in your mouth, packed with antioxidants and heart healthy, right? Not so fast. For seniors, grapes can be a hidden source of trouble. They're high in fructose, a type of sugar that's processed by the liver and can turn into fat and uric acid. In excess, uric acid builds up in your joints, particularly in your toes, ankles, and knees, causing burning pain, swelling, and stiffness. Ever woken up with a sharp pain in your big toe or felt your calves tighten unexpectedly? Grapes might be a culprit. Fructose also fuels low-grade inflammation throughout the body, making your joints stiffer and your movements slower. The problem is compounded because grapes are so easy to overeat. You grab a handful, then another, and before you know it, you've consumed 2 or 3 cups, flooding your system with sugar. For seniors with sensitive joints or poor circulation, this can tip the scales toward discomfort. Instead of reaching for grapes, try a small portion of berries, which we'll talk about later. They offer similar benefits without the inflammatory punch. Moving on, let's explore a summer favorite: watermelon. It's light, refreshing, and mostly water, so it feels like a guilt-free way to stay hydrated. But here's the catch: watermelon has a sky-high glycemic index, meaning it spikes your blood sugar almost as fast as candy. For seniors, these spikes are more than a temporary rush. They can cause long-term harm. When your blood sugar surges, your body releases insulin to manage it, but aging bodies struggle to regulate insulin effectively. This leads to inflammation, especially in areas with weaker circulation like your legs. You might notice your calves feel tired after a meal, your ankles swell, or climbing stairs feels like scaling a peak. Watermelon's juicy texture makes it easy to overrate. A slice turns into 3, and the sugar adds up fast. Despite its hydrating reputation, watermelon can stress your joints and sap your leg strength. If you're a watermelon fan and your legs feel heavier than usual, try swapping it for a lower sugar option to see if it makes a difference. All right, now let's shine a light on a breakfast staple: oranges. Bright, tangy, and brimming with vitamin C, oranges are synonymous with health. But for seniors, they can be a wolf in sheep's clothing. The citric acid in oranges, while fine for younger bodies, can irritate aging joints, especially if you have arthritis or chronic inflammation. This acid seeps into your bloodstream, aggravating sensitive tissues and fueling discomfort in your knees, hips, and ankles. Pair that with the natural sugars in oranges, and you've got a recipe for blood sugar spikes that trigger body-wide inflammation. You might notice your legs ache after sitting too long, or your knees feel stiff in the morning. That glass of orange juice you drink for immunity, it could be making your mobility worse. The tragedy is that oranges are so deeply tied to the idea of health that you might not suspect them. If you love citrus, consider smaller portions or switch to a gentler fruit to ease the strain on your joints. All right. Next up is a fruit that feels like a safe choice: green apples. Crisp, tart, and lower in sugar than their red cousins, they seem like the perfect healthy snack. But for seniors, green apples carry a hidden risk: malic acid. This compound gives green apples their sour bite, but it can irritate the digestive system and joints in older adults. As we age, our gut lining becomes more sensitive, and malic acid can trigger discomfort that radiates to your hips, thighs, or knees. Some seniors report a burning sensation in their feet or tightness in their calf after eating green apples. All right? Even their modest sugar content can cause blood sugar fluctuations, leading to fatigue, nighttime leg cramps, or morning stiffness. Because green apples are often eaten raw or before bed, their effects linger, quietly wearing down your mobility. If you're snacking on green apples and noticing more joint pain, try cutting back and see if your legs feel lighter. All right? Finally, let's talk about the king of tropical fruits, mango. Soft, juicy, and almost candy-like, mangoes are a beloved treat. But for seniors, they're a sugar bomb waiting to detonate. Mangoes are packed with natural sugars that cause dramatic blood sugar spikes, followed by crashes that leave your body inflamed. This inflammation hits your joints hard, especially in your knees, hips, and ankles, leading to burning sensations, tingling, or swelling. If you have nerve issues, mangoes can make things worse, causing persistent discomfort that makes walking painful. Because mangoes taste so light, it's easy to eat too much, amplifying the damage. For aging bodies with slower metabolisms, this sugar rush is a recipe for joint pain and unstable legs. If you're a mango lover, try limiting your portions or swapping them for a fruit that supports your mobility instead. All right? Now, let's pivot to the good news. Not all fruits are out to get you. Some are powerful allies for seniors, helping to reduce inflammation, boost circulation, and keep your legs strong. Let's start with berries. Blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries. These tiny powerhouses are low in sugar, high in antioxidants, and gentle on your blood sugar. They improve blood flow to your legs, reduce swelling, and ease joint stiffness, making every step feel smoother. Cherries are another gem, especially for those with gout or joint pain. All right. They lower uric acid levels, reducing flare-ups and soothing aching knees or toes. A small handful can work wonders. Papaya is another excellent choice with enzymes that aid digestion and reduce inflammation, making it easy on both your stomach and joints. Finally, pears offer a touch of sweetness without overloading your system, especially when paired with a bit of protein or fiber to keep your blood sugar steady. All right? Here's the bigger picture. Aging doesn't mean you have to accept pain, stiffness, or limited mobility. The fruits we've discussed, pineapple, bananas, grapes, watermelon, oranges, green apples, and mangoes, aren't inherently bad, but they may not be right for your body right now. The key is to eat with intention, choosing fruits that support your joints, circulation, and strength. Small changes like swapping high sugar fruits for berries or avocado can lead to lighter steps, smoother mornings, and less pain. You're not powerless in this process. Every bite is a choice, and every choice is a step toward a stronger, more vibrant you. All right, let's